This is going to be regarding John Feal of the Fealgood Foundation, who seems to just be the ultimate spokesman for 9/11 responders. None of these news people do their background on this guy. This guy supposedly only worked 1 week and had an accident where he lost part of his foot. And now he's Mr. 9/11 responder. He was a construction supervisor who was called down there on a job by his union. Not to put down the construction workers because they did an excellent job, but you don't see them coming out like this guy. This guy is, got his plaques all over his wall. I went to him and I've asked him for assistance, and the guy totally ignores me. And I've known him since 2006, 2007, when I spoke at Huntington, Long Island Library, and I knew him from Les Jameson, and all the 9/11 truthers supported him. They got money for him, and now we have this question of where the money went. So we're going to demonstrate that there is an issue of how much money, and I mean there are thousands of dollars that were meant for first responders. And this individual associated himself with Luke Rodkowski, who was a supposed friend to Danny Wallace, who was the son of a 9/11 firefighter who died on 9/11, Lieutenant Robert Wallace of Engine Company 205. And I'll tell you something, Danny Wallace was the originator of the 9/11 Truth Movement. I had the honor of meeting him and seeing him speak, and that kid was going to go places. But he ended up mysteriously dead. And it seemed that his girlfriend, Sabrina Rivera, who was Danny Wallace's girlfriend initially, and then a month after he was dead, became Luke Rodkowski's girlfriend and treasurer of the new We Are Change group that Luke actually stole from Danny Wallace, because Danny Wallace was the originator, and he had every right to question the events of 9/11. So now we're going to demonstrate how this individual right here, associated with Luke Rodkowski and several other people of questionable backgrounds, and even this individual seems to have a questionable background because there are multiple first responders that have said this guy was a Shylock for the mob and he would shake people down. And you can look up his name under ripoff report and see a report on him where somebody actually states this guy was supposed to be sick, but yet he was going out there browbeating and bullying people and even working. The guy was doing work while he was supposedly injured from 9/11. So, but this is who firefighters and police officers are running to, even though he's connected to people that somehow involved in the death of a 9/11 firefighter's son. And none of these people seem to think anything about it or question it. I had the honor of meeting this gentleman who's associated with John Feal, and I guess it's his friend or whatever, and he's one of the directors. But this individual, I have to question his standing because he's associated with this group. He was a 9/11 responder who's affected physically from it. This is Glenn Klein, and he's a good dude, But I just feel that he needs to reassess his standing with anyone who, you're a former detective, you're emergency services, you're a real cop, man, and you are associating yourself with people who are playing with money and people with questionable backgrounds. You knew that he was connected to Luke Rodkowski. I seen it with my own eyes when we were all standing together at Ground Zero a few anniversaries back, and it seemed that John Field kept running away from me every time I'd approach him on it. And he had no problem discussing strategy with Luke Rodkowski at Ground Zero. This guy is a good dude, but I have reservations about where his standings are, where his compass is.
You and Pat went after the Fealgood Foundation. You started writing Congressman Peter King, who was working with the Fealgood Foundation. You were saying that the Fealgood Foundation, a first responder organization, was stealing. You wrote letters to Peter King saying you were a part of We Are Change,
wanted to see if his tax return reflected Luke's donation, quote unquote.
When you go to We Are Change's site, and it's wearechange.org, and it shows donate, shows the PayPal button, it's not to a corporation per se, and it is incorporated. We Are Change Inc. It goes into his personal account, okay?
Okay, but John Feal didn't want to give him to me. So I had to write Peter King to get John Feal's tax return. I didn't say anything about the droga, none of that.
Myself, when we make a donation to a corporation, this is an incorporated thing. We Are Change Inc., okay?
And I'm going to give you the corporate documents from the Department of State of New York State to prove to you that We Are Change is indeed a for-profit company with stocks and everything. Okay, folks?
When we make a donation to something like that, we expect our money to go to audiovisual equipment. We expect our money to go to travel expenses. We expect our money to go to anything but a personal kitty fund.
Oh, right, exactly.
I mean, I'm sorry for getting a little upset.
No. I agree with you 100%.
I paid $300 in donations, and I wasn't even allowed to ask where my money went to.
Exactly.
Sabrina Rivera gave Pat, your friend, the financials of We Are Change to prove that we were not stealing. She gave you those documents in her own words to show you. This is the financial report, Louis B.
Yeah, there you go. Please look at those documents. They are very damning. On the top, you have the bank statements, and on the bottom, you have the tabulations of the chip-ins, and you'll see on the bottom, say $21,000 on one, $3,000, $2,000 on the bank statement.
But Louis even confronted Luke on the street, and Luke wouldn't answer anything. He just started shoving food in his mouth. He confronted him right down there at right in Lower Manhattan.
Between the years 2007 and 2008, he has been withdrawing cash. And I'm not just talking about $20 here. I'm talking about thousands of dollars. I'm not even talking about $2,000. It's like, well, in some cases, yeah, $2,000 in cash. But there's this one instance of $13,000 in cash. What are you doing with $13,000 in cash and not accounting for it? And not accounting for it.
Let's talk about this college thing. I get financial aid. Sometimes this financial aid comes in late, which means I have to use my money on my account to pay for the college. And that's exactly what I did. Later, a check comes in that says financial aid. I cash that check and I use it for We Are Change money. So the whole thing of me using We Are Change money to pay for my college is utter nonsense and lies. I did financial aid. Now, that was a mistake. I should have never mixed in my money with We Are Change money. Now, that was a mistake. I should have never mixed in my money with We Are Change money. Now, that was a mistake. I should have never.
We started in New York, and then we went through, obviously, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Washington, D.C., Virginia. Right now, we're just outside of Memphis. This is my 17th pair of sneakers. Bill Parcells, he called me, and he took out his checkbook. He mailed me a check. I got it in 2 days. And his contribution singularly helped put us over that $1 million mark.
What I'm fighting for is worth far more than silver and gold. It's a chance to unite the past with the Broncos coming home at last, fighting together for life.
Guys, we just got our Super Bowl rings and dedicated to you. You're the real heroes.
Yeah, I mean, we played with all these gentlemen in our hearts. They're an inspiration, they're a motivation, and we're never going to forget.
We pray for you guys every day. My wife and I wish you nothing but the best and a healthy recovery if there is some sort of recovery process. I have a friend of mine that's actually suffered from the same thing. So, fireman that was a responder. So, good luck to all you guys. God bless you.
To Zion we roam, and we're not all alone. Unite and purify.
I know the caller. I what the Fealgood Foundation is stealing. You would have had John Feal contact me and say, Luke, why is your group going to a congressman that I work with and say that I'm stealing money and embezzling money?
Clarify a couple of things.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I did write a letter to John Feal because I wanted to see if his tax return reflected Luke's donation, quote unquote.
When you go to We Are Change's site, and it's wearechange.org, and it shows donate, it shows the PayPal button. It's not to a corporation per se, and it is incorporated. We Are Change Inc. It goes into his personal account, okay?
Okay,
It goes into his personal account, okay?
okay, but John Feal didn't want to give him to me. So I had to write Peter King to get John Feal's tax return. I didn't say anything about the drove or none of that.
When at the end of the anniversary, certain people started asking Luke, "Hey, Luke, how much did we bring in, and how much was given to the John Feal Foundation?" And Luke kept always putting it off. "Oh, okay, we'll get it to you next meeting. We'll get it to you next meeting. We'll get it to you next meeting." And the thing is, a monthly accounting was in the bylaws, in the original bylaws, which are mysteriously not on the We Are Change website anymore. So that became that discussion got tabled until next year, and we started early. Like, okay,
The money was raised by saying it's going to this foundation, right?
yeah, part of the money. We had two collections. Two, like at the time when Chippin was around, we had two. One for us for equipment and pamphlets. That's all it was for, equipment and pamphlets. And the other one was for the John Feal Foundation. Both of those chip-ins went to Luke's personal fucking checking account, and we wouldn't let it go. And it got to the point
Were you
where
guys even privy to know how much was raised?
at that point, no. We only had like an estimate. Pretty much it was a guesstimate of 80 grand.
Holy shit!
Yeah. I mean, I have a video. I put out a video.
How do you raise that much money for handing out pamphlets and stuff? I'm sorry.
Selling T-shirts and donations, and
Uh-huh.
yeah, I mean, a lot of people donated. And here's a little side tidbit: Luke is not the founder of We Are Change. The real founder of We Are Change is the late Dan Wallace. Dan Wallace was a victim's family member. His father died in 9/11, and Dan Wallace died mysteriously of a heart condition. Apparently, Sabrina gave him a pill, and he went to sleep, and he just didn't wake up. And you know what? And no autopsy was ever done. The family never pursued it. So that's a little side point. The disgusting and the most despicable thing of the whole thing, that a month later, well, let me ask you this question. Guess who Dan Wallace was dating? Sabrina Rivera. A month later, she's dating Luke. He likes to say they were best friends, and he in Truth Rising, his little documentary, he talks about how, "Oh, I miss you, brother. I'll remember you, and I hope one day we'll see each other in heaven." Yeah, you're fucking his girlfriend a month after your best friend passed away. Class.